When it comes to storytelling, the original BioShock of 2007 set a new standard. The game introduced us to the dystopian underwater city of Rapture, a city torn apart by its own nature. Glorious visuals, engaging story, and incredible gameplay aside, the main reason why BioShock left such a lasting impression was because it felt so fresh and innovative. Now, while its spiritual sequel, BioShock 2, was a modestly good game, it never reached the heights or underground depths of Irrational's rapturous debut. The opening scene of Infinite is both similar and stark opposite to the first game. Instead of plummeting down to the depths of the ocean, you are raised above the clouds before setting sight on the floating city of Columbia, the moment reminiscent of your first glimpse of Rapture. However, these two cities could not be further apart, and not just in tangible mileage. It was clear Rapture was in ruins. It was clear it had torn itself apart. Columbia's problems are hidden away as the sun radiates off its pristine surface. You play as Booker DeWitt, a man with many debts, tasked with finding the young Elizabeth, an alleged messiah held by the ominous leader Father Comstock. Booker sets Elizabeth loose just to see the city become engaged in civil war between those that follow Comstock and a resistance movement known as the Vox Populi. Booker and Elizabeth have a really great relationship, sort of Master Chief and Cortana in terms of partnerships. Elizabeth's story is tragic as she and Booker share this experience. The synergy between the two is palpable. The story really does nothing to break ground, but it is a really well-told tale. While BioShock's setting may have drastically changed, the gameplay feels reassuringly similar. In your right hand, you hold your weapon, and there are a satisfyingly good deal to choose from. The game's weaponry ranges from a simple pistol to a ferocious chain gun, though one major change to the series is that now you can only carry two weapons. Previously, when things got a bit hairy, you could pull out your RPG and blow away all your enemies. We personally found the new system to work really well, forcing you to adapt to certain situations depending on the weapons you're holding. In your left hand are your vigors, the game's equivalent to plasmids and tonics from the first two games. Powered by salts, the vigors are picked up throughout the game and can also be upgraded from one of the vending machines dotted around the city. They vary in their ability, and while one may be completely useless in one situation, another may prove to be a lifesaver. Environmental factors also come into play when using vigors. Spot a group of enemies standing in a puddle of water, and a blast of the shock jockey will soon dispatch them. The undertow vigor is also satisfyingly useful at knocking enemies clean off the floating Columbia entirely. Booker can also ride the Skyline system in Columbia, which is similar to that seen in the Ratchet & Clank games. Your companion, Elizabeth, is also invaluable when it comes to combat. She doesn't need protecting, so there's no tedious need to do so when a fight arises, but she will scour for ammo, health, and salts, and will pass them along when found. She can also open tears, basically ripping apart the fabric of the universe, which will help you defeat enemies. These tears will consist of different weapons, freight hooks, automated gun machines. When all these different factors come together, you've got a really well-paced, delightfully varied game, with battles that never really feel the same. To describe Infinite as an on-the-rails shooter would be insulting. The game's paced beautifully, allowing you to explore Columbia at your pace while also getting the blood pumping when required, but this is still a pretty linear story. Visually, this is a brilliant game. Columbia looks fantastic as it gleams in the sunlight and is stunning contrast to the watery Rapture. While it may not have the same on-edge atmosphere of the unforgettable underwater city, its use of vivid imagery and the way the city has been crafted means that Columbia has managed to carve out its very own identity. The environments are wonderfully varied and detailed as you journey through the mean streets, and you'll catch yourself simply gazing out and enjoying the view the city has to offer. It really is a stunning achievement. Simply put, magnificent. The story is touching and thought-provoking throughout, and the gameplay is wonderfully varied and thrilling. BioShock Infinite gets our awesome recommendation.